Pickaxe.
5, 4, 3, 2, live from Freeport, Illinois. Michelle.
We're not in Illinois. Welcome to episode 899 of the Video Game Outsiders podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Michelle Madison.
And I, of course, am your John Jacobson.
And joining us, Sean, staff writer for The Outer Haven. What's up?
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
I'm excited to talk to you. We've got a South of Midnight roundtable tonight. We've got big Nintendo news. We've got a lot of stuff happening out there, John. Yeah. What's going on?
The Nintendo stuff's going crazy.
It is.
It's all Nintendo all the time right now.
It is. And, you know, the one big takeaway in the last week here, because last week when Michelle and I did our emergency episode, we were a little unclear about how the game key cards work. And now I realize
stuff up in the air, like pricing information was all over. It's apparently not 90 physical.
We're going to get to that in a second, though. But I think the biggest takeaway is how Nintendo is saving digital gaming with the game key card.
Oh, don't start with this.
Why?
They're not saving
Michelle,
anything.
No, they have saved digital games.
Okay.
They've figured it out. They've cracked the code, Michelle.
Okay. I'm hearing
you don't
hissing
think so?
right now. I'm hearing a loud hissing noise. I'm sorry. It's distracting me. So if you're hearing that out there, we'll try to cancel
Sean,
in post.
Are you...
Sean is pumping an air tire right now in the background.
Sean,
I think that might be my laptop just because
the fan.
What's on the TV?
What are you watching back there? What's your family watching?
What is that? Wheel of
the
Fortune?
Price is Right on. Remember to have your pets spayed and neutered. But no, I'm excited for tonight's show to talk to Sean because honestly, you're in our Discord. You've always got good takes. I may not always agree with them, but you come from a sane, logical place, which is rare these days, right? Everybody has some extreme take on everything. So I think we're going to have a good conversation tonight. We have a big, fun show. Now, the Nintendo stuff we're going to get into in the news. Of course, John, we did a big Nintendo.
We did an emergency episode, but Michelle, you are not... Are you not on board with these game key cards and how it's saving digital gaming?
No, it's no change from what's already been going on. They've already
What are you talking about, Michelle?
Existed, and we've been talking.
How has it existed? How has it existed? How can you sell your Steam keys?
You can't sell your Nintendo keys.
Yes, you can. The game key card you can sell.
It's just like a used game because you still have to buy a physical cart. So you're just selling the physical cart.
But the digital code is on this cart.
But you're just selling a digital. You're just selling a cart like you always would. There was always more stuff you had to download.
You're selling the game key. There's nothing on the cart but a key. Do you not understand this?
The bum says Nintendo is dead. Yeah, I mean,
Nintendo's not dead, and I'm not buying that because everyone is down on them. Now,
well, Doug Bowser said, "Look, I get it. Go buy a Switch 1 if you can't afford a Switch 2." But Xbox said the same thing, and everyone came down on them for that. But this is whatever.
And the biggest thing though is that today or tomorrow we thought we were going to be pre-ordering the Switch.
Yeah.
And that got taken away. Can you imagine Nintendo after last week? Because they did that event early, very early on Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Like 9 a.m. Eastern time, 6 Pacific, right? So they do this event. They've been planning it for weeks and months and years, whatever. They announced the system, the pricing of the games, which obviously is way too high. Everyone loses their fucking shit saying, it's way too high. What are you doing? And then that same day, tariffs are announced.
Yeah, they also delayed pre-orders in Canada as well now. So the United States and Canada are going to be delayed. But
can you imagine the shit that hit the fan at Nintendo after that event where people were losing their mind already and then the government comes in, we're not getting in any kind of
go up.
partisan anything.
This is just a fact. Yeah, the price is going to probably go up on the Switch in certain places in Canada and the United States. I don't know. So they delayed pre-orders to see. But same launch date.
But the launch date is not changing.
Yeah.
And the UK has pre-orders up already. I guess Amazon is sending out invites to certain people, users. Okay. That's kind of new. Have you ever heard of that before?
No, I don't think I've had Amazon invite me to anything other than to get an Alexa robot once that I didn't get. I think you looked at it, John, though. No, but I hope everybody gets one, though, and all jokes aside, because they have a good system set up where you had to have had like a Switch Online account or something, John, or active Nintendo account.
I signed up on Nintendo's website, and you had to have a Switch Online account and then played 50 hours of the Switch in the past year. And that's kind of what Steam did with the Steam Deck, right? I had to meet some criteria for that.
Scalpers and all that. So that's good. All right. Well, you know what? We're live right now on twitch.tv/John and Michelle. We do it every Tuesday from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern. If you miss it, you can listen anywhere podcasts are, including our app and now in Discord, where we put bonus shows, the entire back catalog, weekly bonus shows that we do. And we do giveaways from our sponsor, CD Keys. And we're giving away Path of Exile 2 in honor of the Dawn of the Hunt update that just hit. And I'll be talking about that very shortly, possibly right now, if we're ready to jump into it.
Yeah, let's do our 10-second spotlight. Michelle, what did you do this week? I'm excited to hear.
Okay.
And we're going to do that roundtable after.
Yes, exactly. We got South of Midnight Roundtable and some other stuff, some big news tonight. So I did play Path of Exile 2 again. And, I play Path of Exile 1 seasonally, and I'll probably do the same thing with Path of Exile 2. Now, Dawn of the Hunt introduced another class, the Huntress, and then some other ascendancies. For my favorite class, the Witch, Necromancer, sort of the Lich is in there now. And I think this is sort of the best Necromancer ever in a game for me personally, because they have this whole Spectre system, John, where it reminds me of old school taming a hunter pet in World of Warcraft, when they were all different, all did different things, and it wasn't homogenized bullshit. I mean, Gazzy TV has like a big sheet out there with all of the Spectres he's found and all the DPS they do and where to hunt them and which one to look and how you, it's a little awkward how it works right now because you attach them to the gem and then like the skill gem kind of goes away. But once they get this down pat, and Path of Exile 2 feels great. It feels smooth. There's a lot of flaws. People don't really love this update because they think it feels too slow. But once they get this all ironed out, still in early access, I can't wait to play the done version of this game. I've already put in 100 hours into Path of Exile 2, but I can't wait to play the done full campaign,
when
full
the done
full
version
polish,
is
the done. It's going to be the best
So
ARPG
are you
ever created.
losing progress when they're done?
Well, it's seasonal, so you're going to lose progress every
okay.
season anyway. So I like to create a new seasonal character.
But you have permanent unlocks that carry
Not
over?
really.
Or?
No.
Okay.
Other than your bank tabs or whatever. It's all about rolling a new character class to check out the new builds, to check out just whatever. So I don't know. This game just feels smooth as butter to me. Like, I don't have the complaints that some people do with how slow it feels, just because probably of the classes I've been trying. But they also added the Huntress. It's a fun class. It's right now I'm using something called the Lazy Lightning Spear build that I've been fooling around with. It's like you dash in, you dash out. There's a lot of movement to the character, and I don't really know where it's going to go from here. I have like a javelin that I'm tossing at people, but it's very different for me because I always tend to play casters, and I love, like, even in PoE 1, I love playing casters. So it's been kind of like a hybrid caster melee kind of thing going on with that. So check out Path of Exile 2. We're giving away a key from CD Keys in our Discord. It's for PC. You can claim it on Steam. You can claim it on Epic. You can play right through Grinding Gear. So it's a PC key in our Discord from cdkeys.com. It's only I think they're selling the keys there for half off. So the game will be free when it comes out of early access, though. So Sean, unmute for us, because I know we were bitching about the prices right in the background. Have you ever played like ARPGs, or what do you think of them overall? Am I talking a weird language to you right now, or what?
I'm definitely more of the RPG with the J on it. So anything
you're a
Japanese
JRPG
RPG,
guy.
that's the ones I play.
Well, you know what?
I have played, Diablo and stuff like that before. It's not. Also, because I don't, having a kid and all that kind of stuff is hard to. I have friends that play RPGs, but trying to find the time to play with somebody.
You can play them alone. Yeah, the thing is, I would love to see, and maybe there is one, listeners maybe come to Discord and tell me, like, an actually good JRPG, ARPG. And I've been thinking, John, like with Nintendo needs an ARPG. Nintendo
ARPG?
needs one. A JRPG, a JRPG. Nintendo needs one. Yeah, I was thinking that when I was watching the covering the stuff with you, I was like, I'd love to see their take on it, or something. We had Torchlight in the past, some lighter ones, and but yeah, so I would love to see this genre continue to expand, and I really do think Path of Exile 1 and 2 are going to go down in history books as some of the best ones. So yeah, but it's not done yet. And so if you're waiting out there and you're not an ARPG person that plays all of them, I think you're better off just waiting till it's done, and then getting to play free and really checking it out, because the combat, the dodge roll, everything just feels like the animations, and it looks so good too. It's just, they do a really good job with the game. So check out Path of Exile. All right, I also played, thank you Badger for reminding me to cover this, Monster Hunter Wilds free title update 1. That's what they're calling it. Very flashy. Free title update 1. And so they added some new stuff, a new Grand Hub, which is a gathering hub social space. And John, you were asking me about this when I covered Monster Hunter with you.
Yeah,
you
want
said,
a big city.
A city? Yeah, so that's a little bit more what this is aiming to do. It's a big gathering hub space. There's arena challenges, like a barrel bomb mini bowling game. There's a singer who performs and gives you a buff, a giant bird that gives you rewards.
There's
you can
bowling?
Yeah, you can customize Alma. There's a new blacksmith to make new gear. The canteen is back, but I haven't seen singing cats yet because I can't craft the food. You have to be rank 16 or above, so basically complete the main story to get in on it. But there's a new raid boss like monster that you can kill as well, which I haven't done, but I went and ran around like the social space, and I think it's pretty cool. So Monster Hunter Wilds is a massive success, and they are going to keep updating it and still having a lot of fun just kind of checking in with the
So
game.
are these servers like sharded? Like when you're in that city, like how many people
I think
are around you?
I think it's like up to 100 or something you can be around,
Okay.
but I usually just pop into our guild one that we have. So if you are playing and you want a squad that you want to join up on, check our Monster Hunter page in Discord. There's a squad pin and you can just join. It's open.
Now, is there any RP going on in the city? Like what can I...
RP, I don't think so. It would be interesting if they had RP servers and like people were pretending they were actually hunters. But
Right.
I mean, the game's just really well done and a good time. And I recommend checking out Monster Hunter Wilds if you haven't, of course. I mean, those are two of my favorite games that I'll probably go back to over this year. I will pop in with Monster Hunter. I'll pop in with Path of Exile. And then speaking of popping in, I did play another rogue-like game that I play a lot of these that are sort of like Hades clones. But this one is called Rogue Loops. And the idea of this game is you go around in a loop. That's right. In a smaller map, kind of around, it's like cut in half, and you keep going around from one section, the front and back of it, and everything you pick, every skill has a random buff and room debuff. So I may choose to get a fireball, but now the room has fire traps in it, and every time you loop around in this room, it's going to get harder and harder because all of these layers of these debuffs are going on in this room. So it's a really kind of unique system, a unique take on a pretty much
I like
common,
that. So you're so you can the arena, you could see it at all times. You're just going in a circle around it,
half
and
circle
it's ever
complete,
changing.
half circle, it's ever changing. However, it does end up feeling, for lack of a better way to put it, repetitive. And
Right.
Roguelikes are already repetitive enough as it is, although there is meta progression and I'm trying to unlock a certain character. And I don't hate this game, but it's just okay. Okay. And the reason why it's just okay to me is because when you layer the repetitiveness of a roguelike on top of the repetitiveness of going in a loop, I don't feel like I'm doing too much, too grindy.
But they could have made the loops change like significantly as you go around.
They change
right?
a little
like,
bit, but not enough. Yeah. So the idea is cute. But for me, it's one of those, I didn't hate it, just okay. I'd rather play like Sworn or any of the other Hades ripoffs that I've liked better. So this one's just kind of like okay. But if you're somebody like me who plays like all of these and checks all of these out, I do recommend at least taking a look at Rogue Loops. There was a demo. I think it might be gone, but this could be like a summer sale type thing if it hits this summer. And other than that, I did play some South of Midnight. I'm excited to talk about it and hear if you guys are on the same page as me with it, because I have some thoughts, as we say out here in VGO land. And I am just drinking Tazo Passion Tea with True Lemon. And Sean, feel free to unmute and jump in whenever, because I know I've been kind of like straight shooting through mine. But as you talk about your wonderful games too. Uh-oh.
Where in the world?
Yeah, where are you, John? You in Egypt?
In India. Jones.
Where you at?
Played 15 minutes.
I'm in the Himalayas.
Oh.
And there you have it.
So
That was.
I made it out. I
Good.
made it out of fucking Egypt.
Good job.
So I beat that blind giant boss, and like I said last week, you make sure you switch to Indy's outfit so you have a gun at least.
Did you have that problem too, Sean? Did you know to switch his outfit?
I didn't get to play past the like opening section of it because I had to review other stuff. So
Okay.
it's
All
one of
right.
those I
Well,
have
you'll go back to it, right? Yeah, it's one of those go back to. So what do you think, John? You still loving it?
I am. So I'm like more than halfway through the game right now, and yes, I'm very happy to be out of Egypt. Now I'm in some snowy hell level. And there was a memorable ending to the Egypt level. I don't really think this is spoilers, where you're buried in sand up to your neck, and you have to blow away scorpions, Michelle, as they come to get you.
Does he say why'd it have to be scorpions?
No, he didn't say that.
Okay.
But
Does
I
that
don't
work?
know.
Like if I see could I just blow at it?
I don't know. It was silly. It was like some stupid mini game. He's buried up to his neck in sand.
Right.
Scorpions are coming, and his only defense is to blow on them. So
Now, is it the Switch controller that you can blow into? Maybe that will work if it gets ported.
No, yeah, you press like A or something. But so I'm more than halfway through the game now. I guess I'm gonna keep doing this. We're gonna finish.
Yeah,
this
that's
shit.
not the right attitude to have towards the game. I guess I'm gonna keep doing this shit. It's like being in a bad relationship.
Well,
Nah,
I mean, listen,
guess I'm gonna keep doing it.
With doing this podcast, obviously we always move on, and it's hard to go back. And
It's not hard to go back if you like.
It is for me. I just I have games that stick around, like Call of Duty, which I do want to talk about a little bit because Matt and I kind of took a break from Call of Duty.
Oh my God. Will you stop prefacing this with your boyfriend's name?
So
first?
Matt and I,
Okay.
so he's like, hey, I'm craving it. We got to go back, man. And what?
Go ahead.
The way he said that is
I'm
like,
craving
hey, man,
it. We gotta go back.
We
Sounds
gotta
like
go back, man.
Something else, John.
We're craving it, brother.
Yeah.
So they brought back the Verdansk Warzone map, which I guess they kind of improved it, and so we did a little bit of that. But we just always go back to fucking Nuketown. They do have a new map that's kind of okay. It's called like Shooting Range or something. But we switch guns because we've been using the M4, which is that's our meta. That's our game. That's our gun.
Now, I
right?
feel like I'm like looking at people's vacation pictures of their kids that I don't give a shit about. And I'm just like, yeah, you
I
went
know,
back. All right,
but
you guys changed guns together. Good job.
Yeah, we did. We both
Yep.
changed guns. So we were both using the AK, and we were like, this is kind of a lame gun. It's not as good as the M4. And then we found the SWAT 5.56, which is like all the rage right now because on Battle Pass there's like a full auto like blueprint you can get for it because it's a burst fire gun, Michelle, 3-fire burst. And has really short time to kill.
There's a lot of bursts going on.
And
we get
I don't
it,
know.
John. We get it. Please don't
I'm
take us
loving
here.
this gun, and it's kind of just made me excited to level and unlock things. And we were getting a little bored with the AK, so I recommend
Do you guys always
trying.
share thoughts, or I mean, it's kind of cute, but
we have loadout synergies, and we tend to use the same
you don't
guns.
prestige at the same time unless it's 3, 2, 1, go.
We did just prestige.
Okay.
And we're going to keep prestiging. We made a decision on that.
Oh, you have. You were shamed into it by Jesus, who was on our show.
Well,
Thank you, Jesus.
The thing is, we were just like, we get to level 55. We're like, let's just stay here. We don't want to lose our shit. But I don't know. It's kind of fun. And then I picked up a game. Now, I have no history with this series. Croc. Have you ever played Croc?
No.
Heard
Sean,
of it?
have you played Croc?
yeah, the old PS1 game. They just remastered it.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
this was a platformer that came out on the PS1. It was also on the Sega Saturn, and they did make like a Game Boy Color version of this game, which I'm sure was pure shit. Because if you remember
It's called
back
Croc,
then,
Legend of the Gobos, right?
yes, yeah,
Okay.
And the studio that did it is called Argonaut, and they actually have some history with Nintendo, and they're a British studio. They worked on Star Fox on the Super Nintendo and that like pseudo 3D engine that game used. And then they left Nintendo and then started making their own games without Nintendo's help. And Croc was one of their big hits. And I never played this game at all. And I love 3D platformers. And I guess the studio closed like around 2005 or something. And a bunch of those developers from the studio went on to Rocksteady to work on Batman and stuff. And then, but the guy that started the studio, when he closed it, he quickly grabbed all of the rights to the games. And now 20 years later, he's like, I'm going to re-release them. I'm going to remaster them. And so this is the first game they're doing. It's a remaster to Croc. They did a pretty good job with this. This is on everything, by the way, but on Windows, it is a GOG exclusive. So I ended up buying this on the Switch. Okay. And I'm sure there's some way to get the GOG games
GOG
into
is
Steam.
good because it's DRM free, so you just download and launch it right from your desktop.
Right. So I didn't feel like dealing with it, so I just bought it on Switch.
It's funny that their whole angle is like, you don't need a launcher. We just give you the game, and you're like, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want that.
Well, because my thought with games like this is handheld mode. Like I like playing games like this in the handheld, like a Switch or Steam Deck.
And do you like it? Because Cece's saying it sucks.
Well, here's the thing. I don't hate it. It is a rather basic 3D platformer. It does remind me of Rare at time and games from that era, kind of like around, early 2000, late 90s. And it is a British studio, so it has, to me, it feels like a Rare light game. Nowhere near as big as a Banjo-Kazooie or Conkers and all that. But It's decent 3D platforming. They changed the controls. It's actually interesting what they did. So you have your controller. If you press the whatever the button is on the Switch, the left like start button or select button, you can on the fly change the textures in the game from like super modern to like in between and then like
you
retro.
Don't know the buttons on the controller? Don't you have those memorized and like tattooed on your ass?
No, on the Switch Pro controller.
He doesn't know the buttons on his controller. That's
just
like me not
remember that
knowing
the
a
B and
keyboard.
A are different.
It's the minus button. There's a minus and there's a because it used to be called select and start. Now it's minus and plus and home and square.
Yeah.
So if you press the minus button, you can swap the textures on the fly. Then you can go deeper into the menu and change all the settings, like the lighting. You could like fuzz it up, put CRT filters. So they did a good job of that. They remastered the whole game. It's all new 3D models. They still look like old school PS1. But they have way more polygons, but they kept it really simple though at the same time. So, but again, I don't really have any intimate familiarity with the original graphics, but that's what my understanding. And then they did something which I love in these types of games is there's an entire section which is like the Crocopedia, which has interviews with the original guys that made the game and started the studio. They have all kinds of developer notes and drawings and illustrations from back in the day. They have like a script. Like they really thought this was going to be a big thing of like a TV show they were going to do, a cartoon.
Really? They thought this was going to be big? I mean, it's nice to see
I think it was kind of big. It's just, I mean, did you play this, you said, or was this a big deal to you, Sean?
I mean, that was in that era of like Crash and all that.
I played Crash.
So yeah, I did play it, but I remember it not being as good as those games. It's not. I can definitely see how they thought the mascot was going to do something. It's a Croc
like,
that talks. So
yeah, like they have like images of all the merchandise and the jackets and the hats and the plush and the TV show script. But the game itself, listen, this is a fine 3D platformer. It's not, the levels are very linear, like compared to a Banjo or something. They're not as big or as grand. The bosses are kind of like comical how bad they are. like really bad. Not hard at all. Some of the platforming, though, is challenging. Like each level, basically, you're collecting these gems, and if you hit a bad guy, the gems fall out of you like Sonic. You have to quickly collect them back, and if you lose all your gems, you lose a life. And if you lose all your life, you have to basically restart the level, continue it. And there's 2 exits on every level. If you find all the secret gems, the special gems, you can open a special door at the end and then get some little bonus character, little critter at the end. And that's kind of it. But the 3D platforming is decent. The controls are good. They did drastically improve the controls, and you can switch back and forth from the original controls, which were like tank-like, or just grab the analog stick, and then you have like modern 3D controls where you can rotate the camera and all that. But I think it's a little mid. I would probably, this is probably like a 6 or a 7 kind of a thing, like out of 10 compared to like a Banjo-Kazooie or something.
Okay.
But it's $30. Michelle, if I was on a plane, I don't think I'd
play this on a plane either. I'd rather just like talk to the person next to me at that point.
If I was on a beach, I would.
I'd rather just tan on the beach, not play Croc Gobos. Okay, I don't know. Maybe we have some heavy duty Croc fans. So you're not selling me, John. You're not selling me on it.
Yeah, it's okay.
All right.
I do like the whole.
It's
package,
nice that these things can exist.
Yeah,
I think so too.
It's there. Somebody has nostalgia for it, and they're excited, right?
Yeah, and I like the package, though. I like when they do this kind of like with the interviews and the backstory, and like I just like the history of that stuff. And I didn't understand that this company was tied to Nintendo initially with Star Fox, which kind of blew my mind. But it's like $30. It's on everything. It runs fantastic on the Switch. It's like 60 frames.
Wow, a game from 20 years ago runs fine.
Well, it's completely redone, though. It's not.
I know, I'm teasing. All right, what else? Anything?
No, and then I played South of Midnight, and I'm drinking a Partake.
All right, Sean. So other than South of Midnight, what did you do over there?
I've played like 2 games I can probably talk about here. So one of them is Xenoblade Chronicles X, the definitive edition on Switch.
Yeah,
that game's awesome.
John, that one? That was from what you talked about, right? Okay.
Yeah, I played it again like last weekend. That game's pretty badass, right?
It is really badass. I love how you can just. Well, I mean, all the games have this where you go explore and find stuff or whatever, but this one especially is just really wants you to go explore everywhere and like find things while you're doing that. It doesn't have the like big amazing story that the other ones do, but it's still fantastic. And I love the fact that they're gonna, whenever I finally get to it, the epilogue that's gonna tie all the other ones together.
Now, did you get your mech license? Because I really want that.
I haven't gotten to that part yet. I'm still like, that's like 20 or 25 hours in or so. If you're really going through, I think I'm like 10 or 15.
Yeah, that looks like it totally changes the game. Like if you can fly around and shit, which I think eventually you can. Because the map is fucking gigantic.
Yeah, you were saying that it's massive. It's like how much bigger than Elder Scrolls Skyrim, John? Like
I read it was like,
bigger.
I don't know, 10 times bigger than Skyrim or something. But I don't know. I really like the aesthetic of the game. I mean, it looks old as shit. Like it does kind of look like an N64, like Jet Force Gemini game or something. But I dig it. And that game, I guess, maybe is going to run at 60 frames when it gets to Switch 2.
Yeah, because there's that hidden mode that somebody found.
Yeah,
that I'm sure that they'll do. Hopefully, it's a free update. It shouldn't need a Nintendo Switch 2 edition when it just came out. So
we'll see how that all shakes out.
Yeah, so they've been charging for some of them, right? Some of them will be included in your Switch subscription. Other ones might be free.
I thought all of them were. Some of them
the Zelda ones are included.
Okay.
So far. The other ones are.
Yeah, they're kind of figuring out what to do, I think.
But thankfully, like, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet ran so bad that they know better, that those need to be free updates. So
Right. They should all be
they're
free
charging
updates,
for the ones
though.
that they know they could charge for.
You just bought better hardware, it should run better. That's
like Mario Party, they added a lot of shit to the game, though. It's not just like so maybe they're going to charge for that, and I don't know. It's it is the whole thing's a fucking shit show, honestly.
No, people aren't happy other than hardcore fans that you're like, yay, Nintendo can do no wrong. Let me drink their shit. Nintendo juice.
Well, I'm looking forward to drinking their shit just because I'm excited.
And we're going to talk more about their shit. It's mixed with Jensen's shit, as we knew, John.
Yeah, I know.
We're going to talk about that in the news. All right, sorry, Sean, not to derail with Nintendo juice.
No, the only game I've played besides South of Midnight is it was the demo, because this game doesn't come out till May, but I'm gonna be reviewing it whenever they send me the code. It's a game called Despelote, it's based out of I'm Venezuelan, by the way, so it's based off of a team out of Ecuador made it. It's basically set in 2001.
How do you spell that?
Right before. Ecuador?
No, Despelote.
Despelote.
I'm trying to spell it right now.
Despelote.
Okay, I see this.
So
wow, this
it's basically like these kids. The whole country's going crazy because they're gonna make the World Cup for the first time. So it's like the 4 months before they're going to make it, and so it's set in those times. So like you start the game playing like this late 90s version of like FIFA, but it's in like black and white sort of.
Yeah, the game looks like a bunch of filtered JPEGs.
Yeah, but
it's a 3D
the
engine?
way they do it is just kind of, it's cool the way that they, I just played the demo and I was like, you know what, I love soccer, I'm from the area, I kind of want to
you have to
know
like
more
this.
about the game, so the demo's like 30 minutes. So it doesn't take that long to get through, but it's really just you're going in first person, finding out things about what's going on in the city and the background as they talk, and it's all in Spanish. And you're playing with kids playing soccer or playing the old, I guess it would be Genesis, Super Nintendo, FIFA while you're doing it, and things happening with your family and stuff at the same time. So it's one of those kind of like narrative, I guess, experiences.
So is the game? I'm looking at screenshots and it looks like static JPEGs in the background, or is that a 3D world? No,
it's a 3D world that you move in first person.
Okay, but you're cartoony, your character.
Yeah, the character's kind of like cartoony looking. You don't ever see your character, but they look. I'd imagine they look like the same kids that are in.
Yeah.
It actually says it got nominated for a couple of awards during Steam Next Fest as like kind of one to watch. So there is like an arty edge to it. I think it's probably getting a little bit of attention. Like it's kind of cool looking, but not something I would normally look at. But check that out.
I
The
do
demo's
like
still there.
the way
Yeah.
the 3D engine looks.
Yeah, something unique about it. So they did a good job with
It
that.
has like a crazy like Sin City filter on it or something.
Right.
Yeah, it has like this like sort of like a red pinkish filter that it kind of goes through, and then it changes like to black and white or even like a yellowish filter. It changes a few times in the demo.
Yeah. So you said you're a JRPG guy. Like, what is the best one ever created? What is your favorite? Just to get like some background info from you.
Chrono Trigger is my favorite game of all time.
Okay.
if that
I'm with
gives
you there.
Yeah. And
That's
up
my
and
favorite
coming-
Super Nintendo game. I'm still
Yeah.
mad I sold that fucking physical copy.
I know. You always talk about Chrono Trigger. I feel like I have never finished that game. I remember trying it. What's a good up and coming one? Because like, there's so many JRPGs that seem to come out now, but they all get lost in the shuffle sometimes. Is there something you have your eye on, or what are you excited about this year?
Oh, I mean, the game I'm most looking forward to is going to come out in a couple weeks here. Clear Obscure.
Clear Obscure. Yep.
Expedition 33.
Yep.
That looks
I'm looking forward to
awesome.
that too. I did enjoy my time with like the little preview that I got to play, and I think people are going to be pretty impressed with that. And is that coming to Game Pass? Yeah, I think that's Game Pass.
Yeah, it's
so
Game Pass, yeah.
That's a really good Phil get, and people have been saying he's getting some good stuff. The Blueprints, there's been some buzz about that. I'll have to play it and talk about it next week. Also coming to Game Pass. I think I have a key. But John, it looks like a Mac game. It's like an adventure game with a roguelike twist.
Yeah.
And it's been getting a bit of buzz. People saying it's getting like 10s. You've heard of it, right, Sean? What do you think of that? Unique looking.
Yeah, it's definitely a puzzle game. One of those things that
Yep.
you're probably going to have to take notes while you play.
Yeah, so we should probably look at that for next week. And, people have been saying, at least around our parts, John, that Phil is coming through here. We've got Doom coming up after Claire Obscure.
I'm telling you,
and,
I'm seeing a lot of positive shit. I mean,
Yeah.
also negative, but I'm seeing
people
more
have turned on
positive
Nintendo,
lately.
but they're kind of being more positive about Xbox
Yeah.
right now. At least like in some of the stuff we're seeing. But whatever, it's going to be fine either way. All
Going
right,
back
Sean.
to Chrono Trigger, though, why don't they really remake that game? Because I
Yeah.
bought like that remake and it was really shitty. Like, do like a HD 2D kind of style, like Octopath Traveler with that game. Don't you think?
I feel like Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy VI are there. If Square Enix ever needs to make money,
Yeah.
they'll just HD 2D those, and
Right.
they know that they can print money with them. So I think they're waiting for that. They did announce there's going to be projects for this is the 30th anniversary of Chrono Trigger,
Yeah.
but they were very coy in
Jesus
saying
Christ.
that it's everything around the game. So,
I remember buying that
you
game
know.
at fucking Target. like I absolutely remember getting it at Target. That was 30 years ago.
Yep.
I didn't even know Targets were around 30 years ago. I don't remember
Yeah, they've been
that as
around
a
a long
kid.
time.
Yeah, they've been around a while.
Okay.
Yeah, when I was a kid, we used to go camping in like Iowa, and they had Targets when I was super young in Iowa.
I'm wondering when they came to
In Dubuque.
Connecticut. Oh,
Huh?
really? I
Yeah.
that's a place to camp?
Iowa? Yeah.
Okay. I never thought about Iowa much in my life. Sorry.
No, we used to camp in Galena, Illinois, which is across
Okay.
the Mississippi River from Dubuque.
Okay. The first
but
Target
yeah, we used
opened
to
in
go to
Connecticut in 2000. No wonder why. I'm like, I don't remember Targets. So
Yeah, well, Target started in Minnesota, saint
Mm-hmm.
Paul, right? And the first one was in Roseville, Minnesota in 1962.
Oh wow. Okay. It's kind of been like I didn't know that. I'm getting some Target lore right now. Target had good popcorn dick jewels.
Yeah, and then when I was young, my parents were like, we went to Dubuque to go to fucking Target because it was like a big deal. We had to go to Target.
Really?
Yes.
I remember it was like supposed to be like a Walmart type store when it opened, and then it became more posh, like Target, right? But it was
I
always
think
like
that's
cheap
true.
stuff. Yeah, like when it first heard about it, I was like,
It was like a bizarro
junkie store?
Walmart.
yeah,
Kind of.
exactly. All right, well, what are you drinking, Sean? Anything?
Water.
Okay, good. I like water. All right, well, we are going to take a quick ad break. Remember, if you want ad-free VGO, weekly bonus shows, and the entire 20-year back catalog, you can support us on our app at videogameoutsiders.com by hitting that red premium button, or now in our Discord, where we also put another extra show, the Subs podcast, John, that we've been doing every Monday. There's like 100 or
right.
something in there. If you want to support us in Discord, you get other extra perks. So check us out on videogameoutsiders.com.
All right. This is it. Our round table, Michelle. Are you excited?
Yeah, I am, because, South of Midnight is getting some attention here for various reasons. One of them being it is on Game Pass. I did happen to play on Steam. My sister purchased it, and I played with her. So where did you guys do this? You did Game Pass? Did
Hang
you do
on.
early Game Pass?
Wait.
Where'd you guys get it?
Set up the table.
Oh, well, we're sitting in the swamp. We don't have a table. I'm sitting on a catfish in the swamp. All right, deal with it. Yeah.
I had to use my magic powers to make the wood table so I could sit around it.
That's right. Well, I'm just in the swamp water. All right, I'm getting.
All right,
in touch.
we're in a swamp.
We're in the swamp. It smells. There's bugs.
I got a bucket full of crawfish over here.
Yeah, I have to tell you, I don't really feel comfortable. It's too humid. My hair's starting to curl. Yep. I don't like it.
There's
I'm having
a gator
bad
over there.
There is.
Ugh. I don't like it.
Okay, so let's talk about how we got this game. Michelle, you said your sister.
I did Steam. Yeah, I played with my sister.
Okay.
She got it on Steam. She was actually excited about this. I honestly wasn't that excited because the stop motion thing. I thought it was going to make me sick.
Well, let's get
but
to
you
that.
can turn that
Get
off
your
in the
bag
combat.
of tricks out of here.
I'm just saying why initially, with this game, I was like,
Zoltan, you're
ugh.
right, because she has this bag of tricks that
I
she's.
don't have a bag of tricks.
Yes,
First of all,
you do. No, because every time we do this, you have these like scripted things you want to say, and they're
That's
in a
not
bag.
How
Or
is
whatever,
that scripted.
not
I'm
scripted.
saying that I
You
wasn't
just-
that excited because
you
of the
have
stop
thought,
motion.
But right now we're
Bag
talking
of
about how
tricks
we
sounds
picked up the
vaguely sexist, John. I believe they're referred to
No.
breasts and butts. Okay, that's a woman's bag of tricks.
Bag of tricks. That's not.
I think it's sexist, John. I feel like if every
Bag
woman's
of
going to
tricks?
say, yeah, if every woman's going to cry sexism, it's about time I hop on board just to, when it
Bag
works
of
for you.
tricks? That's
yeah.
a- that-
yeah.
that's
You're
not.
telling me I got a bag of tricks like I'm here, like I'm some siren trying to like move the conversation in some direction just because I said I didn't like the stop motion. All right, anyway. Just kidding.
Okay.
I don't
All right,
really
so anyway,
think it's
right
sexist,
now
please.
we're talking about how we
Yes.
acquired the game.
And I said I got it on Steam, and because why? Because someone was excited, and here's why I wasn't. Because fucking stop motion. All right, I didn't like the look
All
of
right,
it.
so Merriam-Webster Dictionary says
here we go.
a supply of expedients or devices, a stock of resources. It has nothing to do with anything you're saying.
John, that was a joke. I don't actually think it's sexist. Just to be clear, okay? I do not. And
So
nor
you
would
have
I
a
care.
bag of
John
things,
tells me
a
to get in
stock
the
of
kitchen
resources,
and that I have no
things that
life
you
skills
want
other than
to
sewing.
say.
Okay, that is
What-
probably sexist, and I still don't care. This is not. I'm joking. Move on.
Okay, do you
Where
have a
did get
driver's
it? How'd you
license?
play? Unfortunately, I do. I do like a man to drive, though. I'm not kidding around.
Okay.
I like a man to
Well, I didn't know
navigate.
they
I
built
like
a
him to
road
drive.
between the kitchen and
Yeah.
the bedroom.
I know. Hey, I'm fine with that. Just you drive because I'm probably going to get us lost if I'm being honest. All right, John. So
right,
you
all
got
right,
this
so-
on Game
so-
Pass. What'd you do?
I did. Are you asking me or Sean?
Well, I said John
I was-
first. I think that's your name. I don't
Okay,
know.
okay.
Where'd you get it?
So I did. Okay, so Phil let us play the game early. If you
Oh, Phil let you for $9.
for $9.
Yeah.
Which-
Thank you, Phil. Thank you for raping me. I'm going to pay you. Oh, Phil. You paid him
I
to play
know.
early. It's supposed to be day one fucking Game Pass, Phil.
So if you pay $9, you would
Mm-hmm.
upgrade to the deluxe premium edition, whatever the fuck it is,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get access to the game. I don't know which day it was. I played it on Sunday.
$9 to play a game you don't own. This subscription then plus money, I'm not down with, John. I don't support this
I
shit, so
know.
I didn't want to do it anyway.
I mean, it's disguised as a premium edition, but you know the big carrot is to play early, and I fall for it all the time.
But the premium edition for a game you don't own, your subscription lapses, and
Yes.
then that
Right.
$9 you spent isn't.
I did that
anything.
for Indiana Jones too, and
Yeah.
what did I get? I don't even know what I paid for Indiana Jones.
You got some
upgrade.
different shoes or something.
All I got was a fucking a shirt.
Yeah.
You know, the Temple of Doom indie, where I could see more of his skin.
Yeah. I really do think that Game Pass Ultimate, because if you're on PC, you don't have to have Ultimate. You can just have PC. The Ultimate one is the Xbox PC crossover, and it costs more. And I think it should
Yeah.
come with day one for game releases. That's just my opinion,
Yeah.
and I think that they promised that and they don't
Right.
deliver. All right, Sean, did you pay the extra $9?
Yeah, I paid the extra $9 so I can start playing it on.
And how do you
Saturday.
feel about that transaction? Is Phil in the right, or
It doesn't bother me because I pay for Game Pass. I'm not gonna let it lapse. I have to have Game Pass for what I do. So
Right.
I'm in that position where it's like the $9. I won't pay like $40 for something.
Mm-hmm.
That I will wait. But like $9, it's like, you know.
And to be clear, John, we
can
got
go-
Game Pass free
that's-
from Microsoft, so we
Yeah,
shouldn't
I know.
complain. But still, I wish they would include it in the Ultimate.
but I feel like I paid more than
To
$9.
me, it's like the early access
for
when
indie.
EA does it or anybody else does it. It's the same thing. I know you don't own the game technically with Game Pass, but it's the same thing everybody else does now. Which
Yeah,
is
so-
pay for early.
But they say
access.
play
Okay,
day
so-
one. They're lying.
Right. So I paid $35 for Indie to upgrade.
Yeah, that's silly. Like Sean is saying, he
Yeesh.
wouldn't do that. Yeah.
And I got like a stupid digital book that I don't care about. And if you look at the digital book after you buy it, it's all spoilers for all the later levels I never even got to yet, right? So, okay, so I have to finish the game before I can look at the digital book. And then I get some stupid outfits. I got some shoes. I got a chesty shirt from Temple of Doom. Like, that's not enough for $35.
Yeah, give people more. Give them something of permanence. I don't know. All right, so let's talk about the. I think this is from the We Happy Few devs, Compulsion. And
it is, yeah.
I didn't love that other game, We Happy Few.
No, I thought We Happy Few was garbage.
Yeah,
I did. Like that was like, it didn't even feel like a game. I think we played it early though, right?
Yeah, we did. So I don't know. Going into this, like I said, with the stop motion, am I allowed to pull my bag of tricks out yet, John?
Yes, open your bag.
Okay. All right, so let me take a look in here. I have a lip liner. Okay, so in my bag, I have the fact that this was a stop motion game that some people were thinking, oh, it's so artsy, it's so beautiful. And I was thinking, I think I want to throw up. But you can turn it off and the combat will not have it, right? But the cutscenes still do.
Let's talk about this because so when the game starts out, there is like literal claymation type stuff going on, right? Visually.
Yeah, well, not claymation, but like stop motion. Right, like
that is the same. It's one and the
but
same.
They're not made of clay. The people aren't clay. They're not Gumby.
Well, they are in the cutscenes in the beginning of the game. The setup, the story.
Okay,
they are.
Yeah, the gameplay itself, though, if you've never seen it, they don't
visually. They look like clay, and then when the game starts, your character is skipping frames when they walk around.
Yeah, and skipping frames for me is like not what I want, because I'm like I want high frames and smooth frames and G-Sync and. You're skipping, you're stuttering, something's wrong. Is my game broken? That's where I go. Now to somebody else.
That's where I was too with this whole game. The entire I'm like, why are they doing this? In the cutscenes, when the characters visually look like they're made of clay, that works. Okay. It has like a Tim Burton kind of a look and feel and effect. But when you get into the 3D engine visually, the game visually, don't do that.
It's jarring. I'm glad they gave you the ability to turn it off because
I didn't know that you could.
Yeah, Ted informed me of that. Thank you, Ted. Shout out. Because to me, that would have been a total deal breaker to have to everything be stop motion at all times. Sean, your initial impressions, were you into the artistic choice? What did you think?
I am a big stop motion
all right.
person.
This is your game.
This is it. All right.
Yeah, Nightmare Before Christmas is like one of my favorite movies.
That was the vibe of the clay characters, right? It had that nightmare kind of look.
All right, so you were
definitely the little doll you get later. He definitely looks like he could have been like one of Oogie Boogie's minions or something.
Right,
Crouton.
I assume that was some kind of like Cajun voodoo doll, right? Like,
yes, it is.
Okay, so this is why they did it though, John, because like it lets it stand out, and some people like Sean will appreciate it. And I think it's not generic at that point. It's a style, and so that's
okay. But here's my problem with it though, because again, in the beginning you have these cutscenes where the characters are visually made of clay, like a Tim Burton nightmare type thing, or just like physical objects, not characters, right? And then it's skipping frames. It makes complete sense. It's like a stop motion presentation, but then it goes to a full 3D engine. It looks like every other game out there. But then it just skips frames for no fucking reason.
Yeah.
Like
I couldn't get down with that.
The birds, the rabbits, the animals that are running around making the world seem alive, but they look like 3D normal video game characters. And they're literally like 5 pixels are being jumped as they move around.
Frames.
Like it's. Yeah. Well, 5 pixels are frames.
Well, pixels would look different. That would give a shadowing effect.
Well, it's like skipping 5 pixels instead of going pixel, 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 pixel. It's going pixel and then the 6 pixel and then like
skipping
the
5 frames.
Whatever.
Whatever. All right, Sean. So, tell me about your expectations going in here. Were you hyped for this, and did it meet them? Let's start off talking about the actual gameplay.
Yeah, the game itself, I was really excited for. It was one of my most anticipated games, just because I am from my family. Half my family's from Arkansas, the other half is the Venezuelan half. So I'm from the South. So having that represented in a game is really cool, especially that folklore, which they did a great job of representing.
But is Arkansas like Louisiana bio type stuff?
It's not Louisiana bio, but you still have some of that similar folklore. You
Right.
still the same. You talk similarly, not Cajun,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you have
The same way everyone
different
from the
accents in this
Northeast is
game.
kind of the same, you know. I get it, and like I
Right.
like this setting. Like I like True Blood, and I liked a game Gabriel Knight back in the day, which was actually Louisiana, and like it's definitely a spooky. It's a vibe, John. Right? It's the setting is pretty
Yeah.
cool.
I agree. The music. I think the music is
Yeah.
great. It has all the
artistic
kind of
direction and all that stuff
American
is
I
folklore.
love how the music
Yeah.
changes from one
Yeah.
type of music to the other.
Yeah. No, I think that sort of stuff is the strength of this game for me. It is very strong in a narrative sort of setting feel. But I have to tell you, for me personally, I did not enjoy the combat. I thought it was repetitive. I didn't think gameplay wise it was something for me. Now,
Yeah,
there's a lot of
let's talk about
platforming
what
and-
the game is.
Yeah.
Because the game is like a mixture of melee, or not melee, I guess melee combat and platforming. Like parkour type platforming where you're grabbing rails and shimmying left and right and jumping to the next rail and like that kind of stuff. It's very unoriginal, honestly. Like you've played a
linear.
million games like this.
Yeah, and you're
it's
just
very
going
linear.
on rails,
There's
yeah.
minor exploration. And you
Yep.
play a girl who's there's some story going on here where her
Preparing for the
grandma was a witch or
storm.
something. What is
yeah,
her
the
grandma?
hags and the yeah, there's a story, and like the story is what the game's about. I think if you hate the story and the setting, don't play for the combat and the gameplay because to me, like
I thought the story was
Yeah.
interesting though because it's like
Yeah.
they're in. I'm assuming Louisiana. I think that's fact, right? Like, and
Mm-hmm.
a hurricane comes and her
Yep.
mom is swept away in her house, and so she's trying to basically rescue her mom, and then her grandma is, I think, a witch or something, and she has
what's
magic
sad?
powers.
Like, I don't need
What?
everything to be an open world game, but I
Yeah.
feel like this world they creative could have
Yeah.
done beautifully with it. If this wasn't such a linear platforming on rails, like then just weird repetitive combat sequences, if this was an open, just get to explore this town during this thing, I think they actually have like a game with a strong enough narrative and characters that could have carried it. But the actual gameplay for me, I didn't have fun and I didn't enjoy
It's uninspired, and honestly, is it a platformer? Is it a melee combat game? Is it both?
It's
Is
probably
it
both,
linear?
but the combat
Yes.
is like so they could have got rid of it because for me, I thought it was one of the worst parts. Now, Sean, tell us we're all idiots and how great the gameplay is.
I think
In
the
your own
Tell us,
gameplay
Sean.
is
Come
it's
on,
a bit
swear us in
harsh
Spanish,
on
Sean,
the.
come Yeah,
What's that?
No, like honestly, I agree with Michelle a little bit on the gameplay as far as it does get repetitive. You're doing a lot of the
Okay.
same stuff every time, but I feel like the later you get in the game,
okay,
it does get better with the skill tree. Like the more attacks you get and stuff, you can when you get that double dodge, and then you can do the thing where you wave around and shoot out the strands and stuff like that. To me, it got better the
Okay.
later on in the game it got, and
Yeah.
you do know when there's a actual thing happening. Like it's all in. What bothered me more is about. I wish there was variety to the settings of it. It's
Yeah.
all in the same like arena every time. You know
Yes.
exactly where it's gonna happen. Instead of like, why couldn't we had a battle in the house? Why couldn't
Yep.
we had a battle
And the
in
enemies seem to look
where,
the
where you
same.
control the little crouton guy and go inside the hole and fight or whatever? It's like
Yeah.
that's what bothered me more than anything. It's not so
Yeah.
much. I know
That's a
we're
good
doing a
point.
lot of the same attacks and stuff, but that bothered me is the setting.
yeah, it feeds into the repetitiveness. You wouldn't notice it as much maybe if the setting changed, but because you're also in that tiny, small, little same arena, maybe you're like, oh, this feels like I've been here before and I've done this before. And there was sort of like a perfect
And
dodge
the
mechanic
pointless
going
like unwinding thing at the end of killing someone. Like
on. You're a weaver or whatever.
Well, that's to like you're weaving out there. It's kind of the part of the story thing. It's
Yeah.
I did like that they try give you health every time.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but
Right. Because basically,
Yeah.
the world is corrupted, and you can only see this corruption, and
Exactly.
to get rid of it, you have to defeat these demons, whatever folklore demons, right? And then unwind them, and then the area becomes beautiful again. I mean,
Yeah.
we've played that before, right?
Yeah.
Like,
But John, I think you're probably with me where it's like we don't really like this game, but I'm kind of glad it exists and some people are enjoying it. And this is just one that I'm putting in the box of not for me. I think I get why some people like it, but some of the it's just I can't force it, you know. I don't think I'll keep playing.
I mean, the platforming is just mid, and I love platforming, and the combat to me is mid. That's how
Yeah.
I feel about it. Like,
Yeah.
I was just kind of like, I love the setting, the music, the fucking soundtrack is dynamite. It really is. And I love that
Yeah.
setting. You know, I've been down there. I've been to New Orleans and stuff, and I love that, whatever,
the
culture,
supporting
whatever you want
parts
to call
of this
it.
game, the supporting scenes and everything, like it's there, but the gameplay for me fell short. But it sounds like Sean's saying it gets better, the talent tree, whatever. You start to get more moves.
Are there good bosses and stuff, Sean? Like later?
So the bosses don't. The bosses are more about like that's tied to the story, and then the stuff that you do in the boss fight. So it's not like you're not just doing combat with those boss all the time. You're also like, let's say when you fight the alligator, eventually you have to go like ring the bell literally to get him to where you can actually punch him and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. They have those things where there's like set pieces inside the battles that kind of make it more exciting.
Right.
And they are better than just the regular stuff that you go through. But
Did you get the weird Alice?
It just sucks because that's always been the letdown with Compulsion games. Is they feel like they have a lot to say. Mm-hmm. The worlds are great. The soundtrack is cool. But when you get to the combat part, like with We Happy Few or Contrast, they don't ever nail that part. And that's always kind of been their issue.
Yeah. Well, Jedi says the game is full of heart, and this is a very technical review. There's magic to this game. Yeah, I guess I like a little more substance.
We're being technical?
To my games personally. You know, I look at the technical aspects and the substance of a game. Overall, I get that there's some heart in the game, but I need more than that. There's a lot of games with heart. Now, some people are enjoying it and having a good time with it. It's a Game Pass game. Check it out. You don't have to pay the extra $9 now. It is included with it. If you have an Xbox or a PC, you can play this thing pretty cheap. My sister was looking at doing it, but I guess like they still have 99-cent trials, John, for Game Pass. So she just picked it up on Steam for $40. It's everywhere. Yeah, you could still get a 99-cent Game Pass trial. Like it's kind of like
I will agree with Jedi that I think that for me the magic part works. Like I want to keep going with the game or stuff like that. I can kind of deal with it, but I think that's like John said. The whole rest part of the game has to hit with you.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, then you're gonna want to drop it.
And why couldn't it just, if it was up just a little bit, elevated just a little bit more, they could have had really something unique and IP here that I think could have gone on to, if there was a sequel of this and they changed things up a little bit, I'd be willing to look at it again because it's not like I hate the world and the setting and the story and some of the cool, like I said, for me, like Alice in Wonderland and the Bayou kind of wackiness to it that I appreciated. But I just want more. Technically, I guess is kind of what I look at. All right, so closing thoughts for me. It is a Game Pass do not buy, but check it out on Game Pass. John?
Oh, wait, we have
Are you
ratings
skip
now?
it completely? Yeah, we usually roundtable ratings.
I think the game's mid. The gameplay's uninspired, but I do like the art style and setting and the music and all that. And the art direction is pretty decent. Yeah.
All right. And Sean, you're a buy this or wait for sale or what do you think?
No, I wouldn't buy this. I think it's a terrific Game Pass game.
Okay.
7 out of 10 if I'm giving it a rating just from all the other stuff that's not the gameplay. But yeah, definitely the gameplay is going to bring it down.
So if a game's a 7, it's still only worth getting on Game Pass, not buying. Or do
we
you
have
think
these
overall?
rules now?
That's what he's
write
saying.
This down?
He said it's a 7, but don't buy it. Only play it on Game Pass. I'm wondering if it's because
that's up to you. If $40 for you is worth buying, then I just.
You can't do it. All right, I hear you. I'm kind of on board. All right, so that is our South of Midnight roundtable, technical, full of heart, whatever you want to make of it.
Yeah.
Like, we can only be honest, and I just wasn't moved as some people were with this game. So let's talk about more news, John. There's a lot of shit popping out there in the Nintendo world.
I want to talk about, before we get into Nintendo, though, so Bungie is doing a gameplay reveal showcase on April 12th for Marathon.
Oh, yeah. Can you play?
I think this is going to be a big deal.
Okay.
I really do. They've been working on this game for a long fucking time. And this is not something they just started. And supposedly, and by the way, if you're not familiar, Marathon was the game that predated Halo, okay? And I think it was a Mac only game because Bungie was a Mac developer. And if you go back and, Steve Jobs, Apple, was going to buy Bungie and put Halo on their computers, I guess. And that the history of Xbox is directly tied to Bungie and Halo. Because we had Ed Fries on, remember, Michelle?
Yeah, we talked about this. Kind of interesting. And
those guys, Ed came in and they basically swooped up Bungie to get Halo.
Yeah. And by the way, like that's a good
took it
episode
from
to
Steve
go listen
Jobs.
to from our back catalog. If you guys
Yeah.
support us, like Ed had, he was the vice president of Microsoft, right? And he had some.
Yeah, Ed Freeze is like one of the creators of
Yeah.
Excel and shit. I've done
Yeah.
videos with him. He's
we
a
got into some
badass
good
dude.
stuff with that guy, and I remember that specifically.
He
him
did the
telling us that
3D, the World of
story.
Warcraft 3D
Yep.
prints, and
Yep, that was a good app. But yeah,
so anyway,
there's
so-
some rumors
so-
that this isn't coming out though on the 12th.
Well, there's rumors.
Task-
There's mixed rumors though, because
Okay.
the marathon, some fan marathon Twitter account said that
yeah.
they're
Forbes
going to
Paul
have a.
Tassi, just dipshit, says
I
Marathon
know.
won't be playable after the April 12th showcase. The closed alpha is real, but registration will open later. It's not the same day drop. So we'll pay attention
But
to
then
that,
I
John,
see
if
other
you can
people
play, check it out.
contradicting that though. So we might be able to play this game like in the next
This
like 5
weekend.
days, possibly.
Okay, good.
And it has a really cool art style. It's an extraction shooter. The little things I've seen are kind of sick and very unique graphically.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you think they can just do a extraction shooter and that's enough, Michelle? Is this like the next? People are also saying it's
some
kind
are
of like a
still
division.
popular, but
What's
I don't know. I mean, extractions have kind of fallen out of favor a bit, but not in the games that are coming out right now. We're just starting to get some of them. Like it's like it's a type of game in every game now. Like it's a feature. Or
Right.
I can't think of a gameplay mode, a mode in every game. But will it stand on its own? We don't know what this is yet.
no, we don't. So maybe we
Yeah.
can do something on April 12th with this.
Yeah. So
That's
yeah, keep an
Thursday.
eye for that.
Gameplay reveal showcase. And again, supposedly there's been like literally an alpha or beta test going on for like, I think like maybe 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's how far along this game is.
Yeah. Well, good.
And Bungie hasn't released anything new since Destiny. Right?
Yeah.
Well, they've been doing the expansions for Destiny 2.
Right.
Which is still
It-
crazy popular.
And supposedly you can pre-install this already on Xbox.
How? If you're signed up for the
I
alpha?
don't know. I saw people showing it.
Well, we'll pay attention this weekend. If so, John, get into this and let's talk about it next week. And I'll try to play blueprints and stuff. All right. So, a lot of the Nintendo stuff, John, like we covered it on the special, but stuff has been popping after saying
Yeah,
that
a
like
lot.
the $90 physical is technically not provable or true right now. We're still seeing the $80
Well, I
price
said
point.
that.
Yeah.
Because I've yet to see any listing
Yeah,
for a
so-
$90 game.
Right.
But
different
that's
countries.
not. That doesn't excuse the $80 game.
No, and the reason why it doesn't, we don't know if that's true either, because they
Yeah.
came out and they said, look, we're doing variable pricing. This is our new approach. He says our approach to pricing games could be 80 for Mario Kart, could be cheaper for another, could be more expensive for another. So they are going to go like the Apple route of like, look, we're going to price what we can get away with. And this is it. And maybe that's okay. Maybe not every Nintendo game is created equally. Maybe some are worth more than others, but 80 has to be a pretty big, beefy game for me. And for me, the Mario Karts just aren't it. I'm not their audience. So
Yeah. I mean, the thought of paying $80 for a Mario Kart game is fucking crazy talk. I'm just going to say this.
I
Now-
agree with you.
Now, this game might have hundreds of hours of gameplay, and I'll be happy for the rest of my life and remembering it forever. But I've never paid $80 for any standard edition Nintendo anything.
Mhm.
Like Sean, what do you think about this? Like, are you a Switch guy at all, or?
Yeah, I have my Switch. I play it a lot, so I'm
And
excited
what
for
do you-
Switch 2.
I mean, what do you think about an 80? And I talked about this on the John Show today because, like, the last like 5 years or whatever, I don't often pay full price for a game because if a game comes out, a big giant title or smaller titles, I buy them on Steam or whatever, or I get them on Game Pass. Like, I don't have to spend $60 all the time on everything. There's always other options.
There's a lot of
with,
competition
CD
these days.
with
for
CD
pricing,
keys
yeah.
and Game Pass and PlayStation Plus and whatever.
Yeah.
But then whenever a big Nintendo game comes out or a first party Nintendo game, I always have to shell out $60 fucking dollars.
Right.
And it's become fact to me that Nintendo is where I have to spend the most money to
Yeah.
buy games.
Mhm.
And they're kind of continuing this for me
yeah.
really in a big way with $80 fucking games. And it's not, I don't think it's cool, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, this is the argument I tend to get into people when they say I can't PC game, it's too expensive, and I
Right.
that's why I have a Nintendo. It's the only thing I can afford. I've heard from a lot of our listeners is I'm just all I have is a Switch,
Yeah.
and I'm like, well, if I owned a Switch, I would end up spending more money on games than I ever would anywhere else, even on the PC. So my upfront cost may be a little more, but I mean, their upfront cost this time is higher. And like we started to talk about at the start of the show, and it's not necessarily anybody's fault. We're not going to get into the right or wrongs, but it's not going to be the original price they quoted us here in the United States now. We know this price is going to go up, right?
Well, everybody has that same tariff problem. So
Okay.
But
they're pre-ordering in the UK for one price.
Well, let's
Are we
see
going
if
to
the
get the same
tariffs even
price?
stick around. So
Yeah.
well, exactly. We don't know if the tariffs are going to be a thing a week from now, 2 weeks from now, a month from now. But if there is a tariff in place, all developers have, all game companies have that issue here in the States, right? Microsoft's going to have it in the future.
Right.
Sony will
But
have it in the future.
If
Nintendo
they're
has
selling because
the
it's
problem
different though.
now.
They're selling the console
Yeah.
to us versus selling the console to another country in Europe. They don't have the tariffs there. So I'm saying like someone
No,
in the
I know.
UK,
I
they just
understand.
bought
I'm
this
saying
for
that the
$450,
problem
right?
is-
Are we going to pay $550 for it here? What's the price?
Okay,
What's the price
but
for the United
Michelle,
States? Do we know it
but,
yet?
But
We can't
Microsoft
pre-order
and
yet.
Sony is going to have to raise the price on the Xbox
But
and the PlayStation.
But that's
Everyone
not,
has the
that's,
same
that's another
problem
time.
in this
No, but
country.
Nintendo has this problem now, and Nintendo's
Exactly,
price-
because they timed
Right,
their
but-
launch
right,
with a
but some-
tariff.
but people that are already saying
who could
that this
plan
is
that?
I'm not saying that. Who cares?
Yeah.
We're not talking about that. I'm
well,
saying
we're
that
probably
let's
going to
be
get
real.
the same problem that we've seen PlayStation have to do with Europe and all that. Like where the US will play more, the other places maybe don't.
Okay, so they'll
Yeah, I
probably
mean, Europe
stagger the
has
launches in the
VAT
future.
tax on every fucking goddamn thing. I mean, anytime I've tried to buy something on eBay or something in Europe, you got to pay a fucking VAT tax and
Well,
shit.
the chatters think there is no way they change the price, but the fact that they delayed the pre-order for us in Canada means that they're thinking about changing the price. So to say there's
No,
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 way,
no.
They don't
right?
delay the
That's-
price. They don't delay it if they're thinking about it.
It's not that they're thinking of raising the price. They're being smart. They're like, we need to see how this shakes out, right?
Yeah.
Because we don't know if the tariffs are really going to happen or if they're just going to go
But
away.
whether they do or don't, they're saying they'll never change the price.
I don't know if that's true.
That's not true because they've done it
Yeah.
before. The 3DS
Yeah, I
it
agree
was
with
too
you.
expensive when it first came out, and they had to lower it pretty quickly. So
Yeah.
they could do the same thing with this.
Right.
My thing is, you have this Mario Kart Direct in about 10 days. Are you really gonna go to the end of that thing and still not have a, hey, we're doing pre-orders this day for the U.S. and Canada, or this is the price, or whatever?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. So one's the price of
they
the
got to make a
console.
decision here quick.
Yeah, I agree because it's the fans are getting angrier and more
Well,
agitated.
here's
because
the
of
giant
timing.
problem. Here's the giant problem. Okay, we can presume, and I think it's fact, that some inventory is already in this country. Okay,
Oh, for sure.
and that inventory obviously was not subject to any kind of tariff. Okay, or so do they sell that inventory at the price they promised at this event? Which again, comically, this event was a few hours before a tariff was announced.
Sure.
Like,
I knew these things were happening though.
I just
It
think
was
it's
a volatile
hilarious
time.
that these guys probably lost their fucking shit. So anyway,
Mm-hmm.
so the first pre-orders are at the promised price.
Maybe they
then-
have an initial amount, like, hey, the subject
Yes.
to change in
The
availability.
first
Yeah.
1,300,000,
Mm-hmm.
whatever the number is, consoles that are here already, we can honor at the announced price, but
Sure.
future stuff that's coming from Vietnam directly or China or wherever the fuck it is going to be subjected to this new tariff, so we have to raise the price.
Right.
I mean, I think that's the option,
Because
right?
even the ones that are here in the country aren't enough what they need to launch with. And I think that they have to be careful with this, and it's a timing situation, and it's all
Well, the
changing,
rumors
and-
are that Nintendo has produced way more consoles than anyone has ever produced for a launch.
Which is weird because we've got Doug Bowser coming out now going, yeah, if you can't afford it, don't buy it. We want you to buy the Switch
Well, that's a
one.
different topic, though. That's the
No,
price
it's the same topic, though, because to me, I never want to hear that. I want to hear you want this one and here's what you got. It's a weird
Yeah.
kind of thing. It's kind of like he's almost saying we're going to keep supporting the Switch one.
I'm
That's
going
why
to
it's
say
here.
this, maybe not a popular
Which
opinion.
he did say. He said it depends on how quickly they see adoption of the Switch 2.
See,
Yeah,
that makes
I'm going to
people
say
less
this, though.
inclined to
I
buy.
think the Switch 2 price is perfectly fine.
I think it's too high to go up 150.
It's not too high
tariffs.
Compared
Going up
to other
150
tech. There's
is too much.
nothing
well,
wrong with it.
It's $50 more than the Steam Deck, so people are going to compare.
Yeah, the
it to
Steam
that.
Deck is old as shit right now.
Right,
So
but it's
what's your point?
$50 more, and it plays less
Well,
games.
that's the Nintendo tax on it right there.
Yeah, but it
Yeah,
has a
of
bigger
course.
screen. It's more powerful than the Steam Deck. So
Remains to be seen. It has less gigs like of RAM.
it's more powerful than the Steam Deck. So
mean,
But that
let's
$50 is also because you're going to get to play Mario and so.
Yeah, no, there's a Nintendo tax. All right, so let's talk about this though, because when Nintendo did the event last week, they did not really get deep into the tech.
Of course, because most of
and
their
we-
Nintendo fans don't know what it is, but we did. And
Right.
We called
Well,
it
they
early,
themselves
John.
said they don't want to get into the tech.
Well,
They don't,
NVIDIA
because-
did though. NVIDIA put out an
Yeah.
announcement on their blog, and we've been. Wow, that page is gone. That link is gone.
Well, there was a guy from NVIDIA who said he was happy that he got to show DLSS 2 or on DLSS 4
Yeah.
or whatever. He was at the time showing DLSS 2 to Nintendo and just showing them what
And
the
saying
tech could
you guys
do.
need to do this, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, honestly, I think Nintendo's in a unique position compared to every other console maker because
so
they're in
Boom
bed
Tech
with
says
NVIDIA.
we don't care about the tech. We want 60 FPS Zelda. Well, the whole reason you're getting 60 FPS Zelda
It's
is because of the tech,
juice.
because it's giving you the different frame rate that it's upscaling to be able to give you 60 frames. So you do care about it. So this is the technical aspects of what makes it possible. So the fact that they're in bed with NVIDIA is very good for them because it's superior to AMD's technology for upscaling. So I think people are going to be pretty impressed with what the Switch can do as far as that.
Well, they're saying the GPU power is 10x the Switch.
But that, once again, we're getting into why they claimed that a 5070 was as powerful as
Michelle,
a
I don't
4090
care.
because of
No
the
matter
tech.
what, DLSS
It's
and AI
not-
upscaling is not going away. It's going to be a factor
It's not
in
going
everything
away, but
we
let's
do.
not say it's 10 times. It's 10 times because of the tech. So but that's the caveat. But it does have DLSS. It will have some sort of variable frame.
It has ray
G-Sync
tracing.
monitor.
It has DLSS.
Yeah.
No, it does. It has all of this shit. No, yeah.
No, yeah, we don't know the ray
It has
tracing it
some
has.
type of VRR
ray tracing
as
just
well.
means shadow. Yeah, VRR would be the G-Sync, the variable refresh rating, right? Of the frames, everything. So you're going to have like a G-Sync-ish type screen. Okay. So it's going to have these things that have trickled down, into this
Yeah.
device that I think for a lot
But
of people,
Nintendo
they
said
don't know or care.
Nintendo doesn't share too much on the hardware spec.
Yeah, because they don't.
What we
they don't
really
want
like to focus on
It's
is
like
the
Apple.
value.
They say bigger, better screen instead of saying, "Hey, my PPI is the same." What are you talking about, dude? They don't want
Right.
to tell you the text because then someone can say, "My Android phone is 1440p. Why is my iPhone 1080p?" They don't want to tell you the specs. They like to say bigger and better because the average
Yeah, I know.
person, the average consumer, just goes.
So
"Yay,
anyway,
it's
They
we've
bigger
been
and
even
better."
talking
talked more about tech than they normally do in that direct. Like hearing
Yeah.
them say 60 FPS, 4K was like, oh my god, this is coming out of something from Nintendo. No way. Like,
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think people are getting more technically savvy in a way, though, so they are kind of more aware. At least I think our listeners are. They've kind
Well,
of.
I mean, NVIDIA is a pretty important company, and I think
Yeah.
everyone kind of understands about AI, upscaling, and DLSS by now.
yeah.
Like, I don't see how you don't know about that.
Right. Most people don't. Though.
And we've kind of knew all along, or have been saying, there's no way that's not included in this console because NVIDIA is making the APU, GPU, whatever. So
Yep.
I'm excited about
That's
it.
a good thing. Yeah, I think people will be pleased with that, even if they don't know what they're looking at or why it works. I think they're going to be pleased with the performance because of that. So I think that was a good thing. That was some good news to come out of it.
Yeah, and then there was something else. I mean, just stupid shit. Like the cartridges will have that like bitter taste to them, so kids don't swallow
yeah,
them.
I guess people
or
are
eat them.
swallowing them. I want to go back to this though.
Yeah,
Because, some more video came out of people using the Joy-Cons as a mouse playing Metroid Prime 4. And
Right.
they really want you to play this like in FPS with a mouse. And it looks like the hands all contorted, carpal tunnel. But if somebody 3D prints like a mouse that you can slap like a Nintendo mouse, I think they should sell a Nintendo mouse or a casing you can slap the Joy-Con into because,
Mouse house.
yeah, they really want this to sort of be PC-ish.
PC.
Yeah, they do.
And by the way,
And-
just so we're clear,
and
I
they said you could
invented
apparently play it on your leg.
I invented
Yeah.
this type of gaming. Just so we know, so we're clear.
you didn't invent shit. Okay.
I did too. I mean,
didn't.
listen, I was doing Steam Deck on my patio table with a mouse and keyboard hunched
You
over.
invented mouse and keyboard.
Nintendo,
Okay.
no,
All right,
on a
outdoor.
little tiny device, and now
Yep.
Nintendo is literally showing the use case that I invented on my deck. And
Nintendo
let's
knows
not-
that people are looking at all these other handheld PCs
No,
because if
and
you
let's
remember,
not forget
your
that
lover,
Valve-
Matt McCarthy, when he came back from Japan, he came onto our show and he
Yeah.
said, when I went into the Japanese computer stores,
Right.
I couldn't believe all the handheld gaming PCs and how popular they were. So Nintendo's looking at those in Japan and they're saying, how do we compete with these other little handheld gaming PCs? Hey, you know what? The Joy-Con's a mouse, and you can play an FPS, and you can play an RTS, and it can play all this other
The
shit.
only problem I have with playing Metroid the way they suggest
is the carpal
I-
tunnel.
No,
yeah.
not the carpal. I don't want a controller, a Joy-Con in one hand and a mouse in another. Give me a WASD thing. Give me something in the
They should
left
sell
hand.
a Nintendo WASD keypad. They should sell a Nintendo mouse. I think if
Yes.
they're going to do this, they
It
should
might
fucking
happen.
double down and own it.
And
Yep.
and also there's a USB-C port on the top of the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
So can we plug in a real mouse and a real keyboard
Can you?
or some kind
Exactly.
of I don't know.
Yeah, I think that would be very interesting if that happens. If there is some sort of Nintendo peripheral that sort of makes that better, or they let you plug in your own,
or
even third
Bluetooth.
party.
I mean, it has
Yeah.
Bluetooth.
Yeah.
And also, let's clear something up too. Last show, we were saying that the Pro Controller you couldn't use the old one.
We were
That's not
saying
true.
there was rumors you couldn't, but wasn't confirmed. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
you
it looks
can.
like you can.
You can use the old
Yes.
Joy-Cons and the old Pro Controllers. They're just Bluetooth. You can't. You're not going to have the C button, which is the chat button. People are a little pissed off about the C
You can't
button
snap
because
the Joy Cons into the device. Though.
the only way to use the C button is if you pay for Nintendo Online because that's the chat button.
Okay.
Whatever. I don't give.
Well, look at it. They're trying to do their own Discord with chat with cam. They have a web camera, which looks like a cute little flower, supposedly. They've got the mouse.
one of
They've
them
got the
does, the
webcam.
hoary
They've got
one.
Discord.
Yeah.
Well, the
They've got
Piranha Plant one you don't want to use because it's like 480p. So
That's like
so
a hoary
cute, though.
accessory. No, that's a hoary accessory.
Yeah.
though. That's not the Nintendo one.
well,
The
it's a
Nintendo one
Nintendo-
looks like some kind of Apple camera. Like
Okay. Yeah,
Very
I mean, they're
minimalist.
they're basically piecemealing a shittier PC in a way, and I think that's because of the handheld PCs they're competing with. And I think that it's actually smart. I think if they kind of follow through with it, every Nintendo thing has a gimmick, and the gimmick this time around, I think, is the mouse. John, I really do. That's the difference. That's the change. It's the gimmick is the mouse. 'Cause
I
the
haven't
handheld
seen the
thing-
game. I guess
It's Metroid Prime.
Metroid
It's a
but it's
first-person
Prime-
interesting
shooter.
that the one game that they have that people have played, the Dragon Drive, is like apparently the worst playing game, and that's the one that uses it's all about the mouse. So
is that the wheelchair
that's
basketball one?
No.
Yeah.
Is it? I didn't know that
That's
was
the
about
wheelchair
oh,
basketball one. Yeah.
Okay. That's the one where each wheel is a Joy-Con. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that, yeah, each wheel is
Yeah,
one of the
okay.
one of the mice or whatever. Like,
And it doesn't feel good. Well, I think the most interesting one to me is the first-person shooter Metroid Prime with a mouse
too.
because
Me too.
that's the one that
Yeah.
really is going to give you that precision, and I think really make people feel
I
like
just wish that game looked a little bit better though. For me, I don't know. It
So
looked
do
pretty
I.
generic.
it does. It looks like a game.
It does look like it doesn't look that much better than the Metroid One remaster that
No,
came
the
out
game that
not so long
I'm
ago.
personally most excited about is the new Donkey Kong, the 3D platforming Donkey Kong, which has like
I just don't think Donkey Kong is an $80 game. So I'm wondering what
well,
they're
it
gonna
has
price that.
massive
Well, it's
destruction. Oh, it's 70. So, we saw that Walmart screenshot of all the games, and the pricing was all over the fucking road. Like some games were 40,
Exactly.
50,
It's
60,
from
70,
different
80.
countries too, so you don't know what you're looking at. It's
Yeah. But
You
the
know?
Donkey Kong game, which comes out in July, that is the game I'm excited about because it's a 3D platformer and it has like massive destruction. Like Donkey Kong can tear apart the whole world.
Tony
and dig
says,
holes
"How do we play
through
shooters
caves.
without a keyboard?" I mean, there's videos of you can Google them of people playing
Yes.
Metroid Prime with the mouse, and they kind of have a controller in the left hand.
They have
and
the
then got
Joy-Con in
mouse
the left
pointer
hand and the mouse in the right one.
and they're using it as a mouse. So they're using it as a controller in the left hand, as a mouse in the right hand, put face down, and they've got some kind of thing going on, and they're claiming it's precision mouse shooting, and I think that like. Nintendo getting into like, hey, here's our shooter. Here's our first-person shooter. You want to play a first-person shooter if you're out there with a mouse, by the way. If you're playing a first-person shooter with a controller, you don't know what you're missing. And this may be the first time a lot of people are playing a first-person shooter with a mouse, John, and it may be through their Switch. And that's actually kind of crazy.
That's kooky. And
It
it's
is
and it's
kooky.
such a weird mouse. Like that Joy-Con,
is.
that is the most uncomfortable mouse in the world. That's like
That's what I'm saying. They need a mouse house. They need a Nintendo mouse. Like they could
Yeah.
run with this. They could really like kind of, this is the gimmick this time around. And I'm interested to see how it pans out and how it feels. I know you'll probably try Metroid that way and you'll say it feels like shit or it doesn't feel like shit. But Yeah, they're missing.
It depends. I mean, Metroid's an interesting game because it's kind of like part 3D first person platformer and shooting at the same time. So
yeah.
does the mouse kind of make the 3D platforming harder, or are they just going to not have as much of that in there? I don't know.
Will people even use it? Will they be like, what is this crap? I want to pop it in a controller. Who knows? But now you have the option to kind of play multiple ways. So that's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds.
And then the Switch 2 battery life, not too hot.
Worse. Yeah, worse than the original Switch. So it seems like obviously the bigger screen,
But better
they
than
didn't
Steam
upgrade
Deck.
the battery enough. No.
Yes.
And you have to compare it to the last Switch.
Yes.
Basically what I was saying is you need the Switch 2 to be better than the Switch 1 in all ways, in my opinion. And it's not better in battery.
Well, here's
life.
the thing, too. The display, people are saying, actually does look better than the OLED.
Yeah,
It's got
it
newer,
won't, though.
It's got newer LCD
Overall.
technology. It's
It's
super
got HDR.
bright.
It's got very refreshed.
HDR.
Yeah,
It's
great.
got
it's
got
better
higher.
in a lot of ways, but not always. As someone with an
We don't know that.
We know that because I have OLED monitors and non-OLED monitors, and I know OLED looks the best. I have OLED televisions. I have OLED
I know, but
PC
this is
monitors.
new LCD. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. They're pretty good, but I think side by side with an OLED, the OLED will still look. You're not going to get the true blacks. You're not going to get that color. Okay, you're just not going to. Now that doesn't mean the screen's not better in other ways. It's higher hertz. It's all this other stuff, but it's not better in all
Right.
ways. But the battery I think could have been pumped up a little bit. But look, they probably had a weight they wanted to stick at, a thinness they wanted to stick at, a price point they wanted to stick at, and they decided
Sure.
to go
Oh,
with
for
it.
sure.
You know, and this was the choice
and
they made.
power
I mean, but think about it.
efficiency.
If they had an OLED screen at launch, and we're talking about what, 500, 550?
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
so-
no, I mean, I get that. I just think like, they should have been like better battery life, better screen, like all these things should have been better. And I think that
But how do you do better battery life when you're making it run better? Isn't that the whole point? Like, that's the whole reason that ROG Ally and
because
Steam Deck had the
technology
same
has
problem.
changed
You're
in
trying
10
to run
years
the
and batteries
game-
are better. Batteries are better and more efficient in 10 years. And they could have put a better battery in it, but they just chose not to, probably for pricing.
But then that also increases the price. So that's the problem.
Right.
Well, I'm
it's just
saying
finding
they-
this
they
They
balance.
could have
was
also
finding
added
the
more
sweet
memory
spot.
that all the other consoles have too. And
Right, but
they
you
could have made it
don't
more
want to hear your
expensive, but-
batteries getting worse. When I upgrade my phone for $1,000 every year, I want to hear more battery, right? You want to hear the better. And I think to not have it be better in all ways is kind of like a weird
I know,
thing.
but
when
if you
in 10 years,
compare
battery
to
technology
handheld
has
gaming
included.
PCs, it's
Which
in
are way
line
more
with
powerful.
everybody.
But in 10
it's
years, batteries
what do you
have gotten
mean?
better, and
I
they
don't
put the
think
same
you're
thing
right
in
though,
there.
Michelle. I think this thing's more powerful than all those handheld PCs.
It's not.
I think it is.
It's not.
Actually. I
It's
do
not.
think it is.
It's not.
I think it
they've
is.
compared it. It's not. You can look at the actual stats on it. That
It's
not.
running Cyberpunk, I bet, better than my Steam Deck.
No, it's you have.
Yes, it is.
You're comparing all this weird things that you don't have any information yet. So calm down.
I bet you it is.
The internet is not happy with some of the things, and I'm bringing these things up.
Well, I
think
don't-
the
I don't
battery
know
should
the
have been
internet.
better. Well, I know the internet. That when I see people saying, "Why is the battery worse than my original Switch?" I think it's an actual fair point.
But it's a
that you're
sliding
upgrading.
scale, just like the Steam Deck. Like I can
Sure.
play Vampire Survivors for 6 hours, but I can play Spider-Man Remastered for 1. So
Right.
that's what
we
they're
know
saying.
you're getting it no matter what. You would have paid $550.
I am.
You pay $100 for a Nintendo game and buy it twice. Like you are why this exists and why they will keep taking advantage of
Because I
it.
do a
Because they know
podcast.
people will
And,
pay.
I
It's
mean,
not
listen,
about
I've never,
podcasts. You bought a
I've never
Nintendo
missed a
Alarmo.
Nintendo. I've never
Right.
missed a Nintendo console in my life. Okay, I started
Right.
working when I was 15, and that first paycheck, the first paycheck in life, was my mom taking me to Toys R Us to buy an NES. That's my life.
How
okay,
old
that's
were
who
you?
I am. I was 15.
Okay.
I worked at a hot dog restaurant.
I don't know. I woke
My
up one
mom
morning
picked
and
me
we
up
had
and
an
I said,
NES.
"We're going to
That
Toys
was
R
my-
Us."
I was a kid and I was like, "This is an NES. This is cool," and it was a big
Yeah.
deal But now there's more competition. So I don't know. I always joke and say Nintendo is for people scared to make new memories and still living off the old. And I think some of this is nostalgia,
Right.
and they are taking advantage of it. And they're gonna. That's why Doug is saying we're gonna price things at the point we think we can get away with them at, basically per game, per whatever. And they're setting the precedent because they can, because they're Nintendo, because people want to play these Mario and Zelda games because they can, and it's a business. Of course, they're going to do it.
Right.
I mean, to me, the biggest thing is the $80 games. The other stuff is
That's
Okay.
the big problem
That's
for me
just
too.
part of it.
I think
what
the
do you guys
console
think about
price
that
is in
then?
line with everything else, but the game price, I don't understand it. I don't understand the logic. I think it's ballsy. I think it's bold. I think it's cocky. It's just weird. And it
They
sets
can
a
get
bed-
away with it because people are going to do it. That's
well, okay, or are they hedging on the future of game pricing? Okay, someone's got to make the move first.
Nintendo does their own thing. I don't think they give a shit what anybody else is doing.
GTA 6, rumor is that's a $100 game.
Because they can get away with it.
I know, but is Nintendo sitting here going, when GTA 6 comes out, that is the new standard for pricing. Let's just do it first.
No. I think they think, hey, here's what we can charge. We haven't done anything in 10 years. We've got people drooling at our feet. Let's charge what we can get away with. We're a business. And then we have Nintendo sycophants and white knights who feel like they have to defend it because it's because of something else. Nintendo's going to charge what they can. And people are bitching online. They're still going to buy it. The people that are going crazy are still going to do it. And then both of you guys don't like the 80, but you're still going to do it, right? Are you boycotting Nintendo?
No, I'm not.
No, I'm not boycotting, but it definitely makes me. I have to really want the game.
But do you think Nintendo's going to do some kind of like scheme like they're doing now, where you buy like whatever they call the game vouchers? Like
Maybe.
you get 3 of them.
Because like back in the day, prices when they were higher on games sales used to happen. I looked into this, and apparently Nintendo games, even if they were priced high on release, like in the 80s and 90s, there would always be like a sale for them. The price would actually not stay that high forever. Now at this point with the Switch generation, for whatever reason, the Nintendo games have held their price, John. They have not gone down.
It's weird because I don't remember spending that much money on games when I was a kid.
You didn't, because they launched at $60, but then they were down to like $24.99 on the Christmas.
You know what?
Because now they can do it on digital. Now, if you have digital, they can just hold it for whatever they want.
But it was different back then because I didn't get all the games. I got some of the games. When I was 15, right? Like I would ask for a game for Christmas or my birthday or whatever. Like I wasn't. It's not like now where it seems like everyone buys everything. Like back then, I felt like you got a game. You would have it for 2 months, and then you get the next game. You had that for a month or 2, and you get the next game.
You had less options. You were more desperate. And now we have games from everywhere and everything, and it's weird.
You're inundated with it. Like,
yep.
Now, Phil...
it's the same thing of like them showing so much third-party stuff on that direct, and it's like, if people really know where that you can get a lot of those games for a lot cheaper on other consoles, I wonder, if that makes people think twice at all.
I mean, it's great if you're only a Nintendo person, but I'm not going to get excited that I can play the worst version of Elden Ring a couple years later on the Switch. And the same thing with Cyberpunk. Oh, wow, I can play the worst looking version of Cyberpunk there is years later on the Switch and pay more. I don't know. Like, so for that thing, like people saying it's a first party machine. Unless you emulate, if you want to play Nintendo games, you've got to play them on this thing. But
what's
it was
weird is you say that, but I bet Hogwarts Legacy sold a ton on Switch, and so do a lot of these other third party games.
Well, all the Steam indie games are on the Switch.
Around the same time. These other things are like very, I don't know. But like what I'm saying is like I thought they were not going to support the Switch 1 anymore. It was going to be like cut off. To me, hearing Doug talk about that, saying like, look, okay, you don't want the Switch 2, it's too much.
But it's no different than the PS4 still being around.
No, but to still support a 10-year-old console. I don't think that they're going to
backtrack and make any game for the Switch 2, Switch 1. Like I don't think you're getting 3D Mario on the Switch 1, even if nobody buys Switch 2. It's just not.
It's weird to see him say that, like, oh, well, just go buy the other one. You can. I feel like they might try to run with this, like, well, it'll run. You can play it on Switch 1, but it's going to run like shit. You want it to run better? Hey, get the Switch 2. They can't alienate like the people that don't have a lot of money that are in the Nintendo ecosystem, right?
Yeah. I think it's because they know for sure that they have games in the pipeline till 2026. Okay. So they're imagining that from now till 2026, you have a lot of time to still own your Switch 1 and not have to get a Switch 2. But eventually, you're going to have to.
There's going to be that period of interim games that come
It's
out
no different than the PS4, for God's sakes. Like,
people don't have this reaction to the PS4 versus PS5. This is the first time I've seen Nintendo
model,
sort of
though. It's the same model.
Out their good fare with people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is the first time I've seen like Nintendo Life put a bad article out about the Switch and the pricing and stuff. Like, I'm saying this is like the first time I've seen.
Kevin CC Games says Nintendo customers are my best customers. The idea that they are poor ones is wrong.
Well, they're the poor ones that we hear when comparing to PC gamers. PC gamers aren't coming into your store, Kevin. And I've always said PC gaming is the cheapest way to game, and I believe it is. So maybe the poor people in your store may be Xbox Game Pass people. I'm not comparing them to that. We're hearing from a lot of people that I'm poor, so I play Nintendo. That's the only thing I have is a Switch. So for them, for those people,
I thought it was Game Pass.
This might be the first time they're ever getting to play some of these games, John. Like it doesn't have to only be a
Kevin
third-party
just
machine.
echoed exactly what I just said. Xbox are the poor ones with Game Pass.
I just said that. I said in the console world. But from what
Yeah.
I'm hearing is why I can't PC game. I can produce literal stories here from people. And people that are in our Discord that say, I only own a Switch because I'm poor. I can't afford
understand,
it.
but like
it's the PC part of it. It's like they don't want to
Yeah.
buy the expensive
Yes.
PC, but the games are definitely cheap.
Exactly. What I'm saying is if you put that money up front, you're going to save on the games that year. And I think for the first time, Nintendo is causing some people to stop and say, wow, that $450 is a bit much up front with an $80
it's
game.
not.
I don't know
That's
about this.
not expensive to compare to other shit. The console, the Xbox, I mean, the Switch 2 console price is fine.
$450.
It's
Go up
fine in
$150 for
2020.
some-
It is
It's
fine in
but it's not
2025
fine. Then people are
compared to other
reacting. You
stuff.
can't
It's
tell
got
everybody
NVIDIA
it's
juice.
fine.
It's got
You
a
can't tell
giant, the
everybody
biggest
it's fine.
screen that any handheld's ever had. There is
What may be
nothing
fine
wrong
for
with
us
that
may not
price.
be fine for
It's
everybody.
It's
I'm
the
saying
game
they have-
price. It's how much does an iPhone cost?
Is that okay, John?
It's
people don't buy
fine.
their iPhones outright. The average American
It's
is not buying their
fine.
iPhone outright. They're paying monthly like idiots, or they can't
Okay,
afford it
well,
and they have to.
I don't know.
John. If
I mean-
it wasn't fine, Doug, they had to have the president come
Yeah.
out and say, "Look, we get it. It's too expensive for some people. Just
He's
buy
saying
the
there's
original."
another option, but the other
Right.
option
But
isn't.
the reason he's saying that is
isn't
because there's a
50 and
backlash
it's
to the
not
pricing.
50% less.
There's a
And-
backlash to the pricing. That's not my
okay,
backlash.
so
I
if
have
you
the
want
money.
a PS4 or a PS5, it's the same spread between the two right now. And
Mm-hmm.
PS4 is perfectly capable of playing probably everything.
You can't argue with me about the backlash to the pricing. You can say you don't agree with it, but just going into
Well, I think
backlash
it's also
is
we got to take
fine.
into account. It's
The
not just
backlash
the US,
is
it's-
fashionable. I think that's what part of it.
And it's the first time I've seen a Nintendo backlash, and I think they're running through their goodwill with people.
No,
I think
it's a
the
bunch
winds
of
are changing.
fashionable fucking posers. Like, I'm sorry.
I don't know.
I mean,
but yet
okay,
you're
look,
bitching about
$450 in the
games.
US is not that bad. You take that to other countries,
Canada,
and,
what is
and
it?
price
there?
it out there, it is bad. That's what
Not
I
when
think
you
we're getting
compare
the
it to everything
backlash
else,
for it,
though.
you know. And it's also
Yeah.
the bad thing of what you're saying, Michelle. It's more about when I'm looking at $450. Okay, I got $450. When somebody
Right.
tells me, "Oh crap, I got to pay $80 for one game,"
It's the problem's
that's
the games.
where the problem is.
But
It's not the
combo.
console.
It's not I got but it's not I got in really cheap. Hey, this was a $300 device. I'm paying $60. It's okay. I got in really cheap. Now I didn't get in really cheap, and I'm paying
Yeah.
$80 for games. To me, Nintendo can go fuck themselves. I am not buying a Switch 2. I have no interest in a Switch 2. If I want to play some of their mediocre games, I'll play them in other ways. And
Mediocre?
I think, yeah, mediocre. I don't give a shit about Donkey Kong jumping on a fucking barrel for the last 30 years.
Not a barrel. He's destroying
you know?
mountains.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah, he's destroying the whole city.
It's great. People are excited,
All
but I
right,
get
let's
the people
let's
that
move
aren't.
on. We
So,
beat
yeah,
this
any
to
other
death
news?
enough. Well, I mean, so
I
the BAFTA
bought two
awards.
Switches, Kevin, so that remains to be seen what I was and wasn't buying. They were offering me
Okay.
nothing new here. What the fuck are they offering me? I don't handheld
All right,
game.
do we
You're offering me
follow the
Elden Ring
BAFTA
7
awards?
years?
These are
The BAFTA
these
awards?
are the
No.
British. These are the British Gaming Awards, and I have to say, looking at the BAFTA awards, which I don't think we've ever talked about, and they're not new by
Buddha,
any
shut
means.
the fuck up. I don't have to acknowledge you in the chat. You're literally a psycho. You're acting like a complete psychotic person, spamming me every second. I don't have to acknowledge you.
So the BAFTA awards just happened. And I have to say, looking at these from afar, looked like a real award show.
Really? I do like their little
the-
face of that guy.
Not the Jeff Keighley stuff. It looks like they're trying to be like the Oscars or something. So the big winner here, it kind of mirrors the U.S. stuff. It's Balatro and
Okay.
Astrobot. Is that how we're defining last year? Is that it?
Not for me. No. I mean, we did our
Well,
thing
remember,
here.
BAFTAs are more technical. Like they look at more of the, like it's kind of almost like the game dev kind of stuff too. Like GDC has their own awards, and
Right.
they kind of look at it like that. You know,
Like Astrobot, they sweeped. Like they won every fucking thing: best animation, best audio achievement, best game. They won best family game, best game design. Like they cleaned fucking house at this thing.
Yeah, I think it's one of those, like Sean is saying here, like being recognized in the industry by your peers is the nod
Right.
here. That we are
Yeah.
recognizing this. It's not really so much for the, actual gamers themselves. But, I mean, look, Astrobot, I mean, John, you said it was almost, was Nintendo quality. And
It
you
was.
liked it. So, I mean,
I
it's
loved
kind
it.
of, yeah.
Love
fit
it.
for you. You love it. You beat it, right?
Yeah.
and it was made
No,
by a
I
small
haven't beat it yet.
team.
Small team. There you go. A small Japanese
Small team.
Let me look at gaming news to see if anything's breaking before we get out of here. Because sometimes there'll be some other Nintendo news that'll probably happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're like, oh.
And by the way, Sony is playing hardball with Vampire Survivors and not letting them do cross progression, cross save.
Really?
They're the only ones. Yeah.
They've always been weird about cross save. Like
cross everything, right?
Yeah.
So part of the reason is achievements or trophies.
Right.
They're saying, well, if you have cross save and you played the game more on Xbox and you come here, what do we do with trophies? Like, do we give you
Right.
the ones you earned over there? So that's kind of a weird problem. But Vampire Survivors posted today, we're sorry to say we won't be able to bring the Vampire Survivors cross-save feature to PS4 and 5 with the next update. We told everyone that cross-save is coming, but basically PlayStation is playing hardball with us, and it's only going to be on PC, Xbox, Android, and iOS.
I mean, at this point, Vampire Survivors is how many years old?
It doesn't matter. It just forget the
You just
game.
wanted to shit and say Sony's dead? Is that what you wanted to do?
Well, I mean, listen, this was the thing with Fortnite, because Fortnite wanted to do crossplay, and Sony wouldn't let them, remember? And then Sony released an accidental update that enabled crossplay. Mm-hmm. And then at that point, the genie was out of the bottle, and Sony didn't want them to do it.
Right.
So does Vampire Survivors need to accidentally do it? Oops, we released an accidental update.
How would Sony feel about that? They seem like they'd get vindictive.
Yeah.
Yeah, they love to keep things in their little garden
Yeah.
and not play with everybody else unless you
Yeah.
force them to, like Nintendo and Xbox did.
Yep. And I
Right.
think we need to. We need to get people more on board with
Why
kind
is
of-
Sony becoming the most closed,
they're
isolated
not.
company?
Nintendo is the most closed.
No,
and isolated.
Sony.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm
Sony has
embarrassed
their
to
games
have
on
a PS5.
PC. Okay,
It's-
Nintendo has their games nowhere else but theirs, and yet they're give me a break. You keep
it's-
screaming about
the
Sony being
console
dead. It's so
embarrasses me.
stupid. Then you
No.
know what, John? I never want to hear you buy another game that comes out and everything. I never want to hear you get it on your PlayStation again because you choose to buy it on your PlayStation, and yet you yell how dead it is.
It is dead. It's just rotting in my
Then why'd you buy the
entertainment
show
center.
for your PlayStation and not your Xbox?
Because it's a fucking Sony game. Where else would I buy it?
Oh, you could buy it on your Xbox. It comes out on Xbox. Why did you buy it on PlayStation if it's dead?
I had to use that shameful device for something.
I mean, John, I never want you to buy a PlayStation 6. I never want you to. Where are you going to play GTA, John?
Well, I have to play it on PlayStation, right?
Okay,
Like,
so I don't know. I'm not following your logic
They're
of how
contradicting
shameful.
yourself.
Yeah, I don't get
But do
how
I buy
how
a
shameful this
PS5
is.
Pro when is that when
I don't know.
finally
Could
take
you
the
deal with
leap?
that shame? You're going to have to flog yourself. You really are going to have to flog yourself. Well, we're going to get out of here. Thank you so much for joining us, Sean. If people want to find you online, you've got a podcast and you're a staff writer. Give us out your links and share your info.
You can just follow me at WTM Sean anywhere on social media. W2 Network is my YouTube channel where I have my podcast, Video Games to the Max. You can also just find it on podcasts. Wherever
Right.
you have those, check out my stuff on the Outer Haven. They have wonderful writers that do reviews and news every day, and they do awesome stuff over there. So
Well, good.
yeah.
And you
Very
can also
cool.
chat with Sean in our Discord. Like I said, he's got some reasonable takes. He's got a level head, and it's always good to talk to you, Sean. So if you want to find us during the week, you can go premium either on our app on videogameoutsiders.com or our Discord where we do weekly bonus shows. We have the entire 20-year back catalog ad-free, and also you get extra contest entries from cdkeys.com in our Discord. We're giving away Path of Exile 2 this week. And there's always some fun stuff going on in there. John, get us out of here.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening, subbing, all that shit. Video Game Outsiders out.
I'm using up all of my oxygen. Making a plan to get you back again. Treat it like a disease. Forget our history. 'Cause I know how to get you back again. I know you sense the change in everything. chemistry we had is back times 10. Feeling weak in the knees, forget our history, 'cause I know how to get you